The match between France and Belgium in the round of 16 of Euro 2024 was tense from the first minutes. Both teams showed determination but have been very cautious since the ball kicked off. Right from the first minutes, France was the team that actively controlled the match. Antoine Griezmann and Kylian Mbappé had the first scoring opportunities but could not overcome Belgium's solid defense. Entering the second half, France appeared more impatient in finding a goal. More dangerous opportunities also appeared, but similar to the first half, France's scoring opportunities were all unfortunately missed. It seemed like the match would end in a draw, but in the 85th minute, luck called Muani and France took the lead thanks to Vertonghen's own goal. The remaining time is too little for Belgium to create something special. The 1-0 result was kept until the end of the match and France advanced straight to the quarterfinals of Euro 2024.
An incredible display of teamwork and...
Portugal and Slovenia will face each other in the round of 16 match at Euro 2024. Although they just suffered an unexpected defeat against Georgia, Portugal is still rated higher than the Little Dragons, Slovenia, and Slovenia is expected to win this match. The Portuguese team under the guidance of coach Roberto Martinez has a talented squad. Considered one of the strongest teams at Euro 2024, however, they had uneven performances in the first round. They had a convincing victory over Turkey, but also lost unexpectedly to Georgia. However, with outstanding squad quality, Portugal is still rated higher to surpass Slovenia and advance to the quarterfinals. As for Slovenia, they had a pretty impressive group stage, drawing all three matches in Group C, including matches against strong teams like England and Denmark. This is the first time Slovenia has entered the knockout round of a major tournament as one of the four best third-place teams. However, their class and experience are still underestimated. Compared to Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo, CR7, the star of the Portuguese team, is facing a challenge at UEFA Euro 2024. After 3 matches, he has still not scored any goals, only 1 assist for his teammates. However, in the upcoming match against Slovenia in the round of 16, many people expect Ronaldo to break the deadlock. Although Slovenia has a resilient defense, Portugal is predicted to win, and Ronaldo could be the difference maker. With 5 shots on target in previous matches, he is clearly creating many opportunities. Furthermore, with extensive playing experience and the achievement of winning the Golden Shoe in previous Euros, Ronaldo has enough motivation and ability to shine in this important match. Therefore, many people believe that this will be the time Ronaldo scores his first goal at Euro 2024, helping Portugal advance deeper in the tournament. Predicting the match between Portugal and Slovenia will likely not exceed 3 goals. Although Portugal are in impressive scoring form with an average of 1.8 goals per match in the last 5 matches, they will have to face a strong defense from Slovenia. This team has only conceded 2 goals in the last 3 group stage matches and is on an impressive 9-match unbeaten streak. The trend of Slovenia's recent matches often ending with low scores. Typically 3 of their last 4 matches all ended with a score of 1-1. In addition, Slovenia defeated Portugal in March 2024, ending this team's unbeaten streak. With the above factors, this match is likely to be tense and end with a close score like 2-0 or 2-1 for either team. Cristiano Ronaldo is definitely the most notable name on the Portuguese side. He has not scored at Euro 2024 and is expected to open his account against Slovenia. Supporting Ronaldo to score includes many talented players such as Bernardo Silva, Vitinha, or even Leao. On the other side, Slovenia expects Sesko to spearhead the attack. In the match, Slovenia is expected to play a majority defense. They can only wait for counterattack situations, and Sesko is the number 1 hope.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you again with the Disney 3D Art YouTube channel. In today's video, it will be the character Dopey, the 3rd dwarfs in the movie Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs everyone. Dopey is the youngest of the dwarfs in Disney's 1937 animated feature film Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. He gets his name from his incompetence and penchant for silly antics. Dopey is the only dwarf who doesn't speak and instead communicates through pantomime. In the very early stages of pre-production for Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, Dopey was simply called the 7th. An armature of each dwarf was constructed as a reference for the animators. Percy Pierce, one of the storymen working on Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, was particularly active in creating the characters of the dwarfs. Dopey's personality and role were finalized quite late in the process. After someone suggested that Dopey should move like burlesque comedian Eddie Collins, who himself was filmed performing actions for Dopey. This helped to define the character's personality. Mel Blanc, known for his voice work in Looney Tunes, was hired to voice Dopey, but he was dropped when Dopey was decided to be mute. A similar event would happen with Gideon from Pinocchio. Eddie Collins and Oliver Wallace performed live-action reference with vocal work by Jimmy McDonald needed for the character. Though designing the dwarfs was relatively easy, animating them proved to be difficult, as the animators, already finding human figures difficult to animate, now had to animate ill-formed human figures. Vladimir Tytla noted that the dwarfs should walk with a swing to their hips, and Fred Moore commented that the dwarfs had to move a little more quickly to keep up with the human characters. In order to establish Dopey's character during the march home in Hi-Ho, George Stalling noted traits specific to the character, to be taken into account in the animation. An armature of each dwarf was constructed as reference for the animators. Dopey is first introduced, along with his 6 companions, at the dwarf's mine. His job is to sweep up the rejected diamonds thrown away by Doc. At one point, Dopey pretends that 2 diamonds are his eyes, much to Doc's disapproval. Dopey is the last dwarf to leave the mine and walks at the back of the line as they sing, Hi-Ho, on the way home. Attempting to keep in step, but failing. When the 7 dwarfs reach their cottage, they see the lights are on, the door is open, and the chimney has smoke coming out. They think that some creature has taken up residence in their house. They sneak into the cottage and search the room. They quickly note that the cottage has been cleaned considerably. At one point, Dopey and Happy see something cooking on the fire. Happy is about to try it when Grumpy stops him, suspecting that it is witch's brew. They decide that whatever is in the cottage is upstairs. And Doc declares that one of them must go upstairs to chase it out of the house. Dopey is elected, and Doc, his hand shaking, gives Dopey the candle. Dopey is so terrified upon entering the bedroom that, when he hears a noise coming from the beds, he screams in terror, drops the candle, and rushes downstairs, crashing into the other dwarfs just outside the bedroom waiting, knocking them all down the stairs. The other dwarfs think that a monster is after them and rush outside, locking the door behind Dopey, who pulls on the door handle until it comes off, falls into the kitchen, and emerges from the cottage covered in pots and pans. The other dwarfs, waiting in the trees outside, think Dopey is the monster and ambush him, beating away all the kitchenware. When they realize that it is only Dopey, they ask him what it was doing and he shows them it was sleeping. They then decide that they must get rid of the monster once and for all before it wakes up, and enter the bedroom. They are about to strike whatever is sleeping in their beds when they realize that it is the princess, Snow White. Grumpy begins to complain, and Doc attempts to silence him. But Snow White is woken up. She manages to match the name at the foot of each bed to the correct dwarf. Dopey is the 6th dwarf identified. He is introduced by Happy. Eventually, it is agreed that Snow White will clean and cook for the dwarfs if she is allowed to stay. She prepares soup for them but demands that they wash first. The dwarfs reluctantly march outside. First, Dopey goes in the wrong direction, then, he bumps into the door. Eventually, he goes to the trough, where the dwarfs, led by Doc, wash. When Sneezy dips his finger in the water, he blubbers, shocking Dopey and the other dwarfs except for Grumpy, while singing Bloodaludalum-dum, the dwarfs' washing song. Grumpy refuses to wash, but the other dwarfs, led by Doc, manage to drag him to the water and wash him thoroughly. Dopey tumbles into Doc during the scuffle, resulting in Doc angrily ordering Dopey to get the soap. It keeps slipping out of his hands. And eventually after the soap ricochets off of Doc's rear end, Dopey swallows it by mistake. Initially unaware of this, Dopey begins to hiccup bubbles until he clues in and pats at the soap in his stomach, and his hiccups comically get even worse. While the rest of the dwarfs continue to wash Grumpy, Dopey is left to his own devices with the soap still inside him. As revealed in a deleted scene, when the dwarfs go to supper, Dopey accidentally sallows his spoon while eating soup. The other dwarfs try everything to get the spoon out of Dopey, like getting the spoon out of a bubble from the soap, and turn him upside down and shake it out of him. After those two failed, Happy has the dwarfs bend Dopey over, and he rams into him, finally getting the spoon and the soap out of Dopey. Later that evening, after supper, the 7 dwarfs entertain Snow White with the silly song. To begin with, Dopey plays the drums, and then later jumps on top of Sneezy's shoulders, almost causing him to sneeze. Dopey prevents this by holding his nose with his feet, and they both go dancing with the princess. Dopey bows to Snow White and nearly loses his balance. But Sneezy drags him back up by his rear end, and both maintain their composure. At the song's apex, Sneezy starts jittering, and just before he sneezes, Dopey, being a good friend, puts his finger in front of his own nose, but to no avail. Dopey is burst up onto one of the rafters. The dwarfs listen to Snow White sing, "Someday my prince will come," which sends every dwarf, except the stubborn Grumpy, into a dreamlike state. Doc declares that Snow White will sleep in the bedroom upstairs, and the dwarfs must sleep downstairs. Dopey leans his head on a single feather to sleep, while Sneezy uses his bum as a pillow. During the night, Dopey starts whimpering in his sleep and kicking his legs. But a few jabs from Sneezy on the bottom makes him settle. The next morning, as each dwarf leaves, he is kissed by Snow White. When it is Dopey's turn, he is blown back inside by one of Sneezy's sneezes, but this does not stop him from running back out to get kissed. He eagerly darts around the back and through the house to receive another. While the dwarfs head to the mine, the queen, as the witch, makes her way to the cottage, knowing that only Snow White will be at home. Upon her arrival at the cottage, the animals sense danger and, after attempting to drive her away, rush to the mine to fetch the dwarfs. When they discover that the queen has found Snow White, the dwarfs rush home to find that the witch has succeeded in poisoning the princess and is about to leave. The dwarfs chase the witch into the mountains, and she reaches a cliff. She attempts to crush the dwarfs with a boulder, but a flash of lightning causes her to fall from the cliff and be crushed by the boulder herself. The 7 dwarfs mourn Snow White's death. Dopey is seen sobbing on Doc's shoulder. The dwarfs find her to be so beautiful, even in death, that they fashion a coffin from glass and place her inside. The prince arrives, and the dwarfs part, allowing him to approach Snow White and kiss her. The spell of the sleeping death is broken, and the dwarfs cheer. Before Snow White leaves with the prince, she kisses each dwarf on the forehead. Dopey, who was 6th, tried to receive a kiss from Snow White on the lips like that morning. First is to draw the body, then wear a chartreuse green with the gold buttons and wear the shoes for Dopey. Next is to draw 2 arms for Dopey. Next is to draw the head and decorate the face for Dopey. Finally, wear the purple hat for Dopey. So the character Dopey in the movie Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs has been completed. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to receive the new notifications. At the same time, download the app and go to the website DisneyStore to shopping online, as well as Disney Plus to watch some movies and TV shows for free, used by many people of the world. Tomorrow, some Disney characters will appear right now. Thanks for watching and goodbye everyone.